Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, depending where you are on the planet. This is Thfc Till I Die, the home of Spurs, past, present, and after last night, maybe a bit of a future. Anyway, you're all very welcome to this fan show, which is a bit of a post-mortem, not an autopsy, thanks be to God, on last night's performance against Manchester United, which I think we can say was definitely a game of two halves. We didn't turn up in the first half, and they didn't turn up in the second. So it was not quite as simple as that, but it was very entertaining game. I'd say if I was a neutral watching it, I would have really enjoyed it. But as a Spurs fan, it was horrific that we went in 2-0 down at half time, expecting the worst. And anyway, we came good in the second half, and I have to say, it's laid to rest a few of the demons that we experienced at Newcastle last Sunday. Not all of them. But I think Ryan Mason did a very good job, whatever he said to them at half time there, to get the team up and running properly in the second half, playing at a different pace. I think that was the difference. In the first half, Manchester United played at pass round us, really. They were far, far quicker on the ball and off us, whereas we were sluggish and slow and deliberate. But in the second half, we picked up the pace a good bit. We matched their pace and exceeded it. And I think, it was quite a very good all-round second half performance by Tottenham. And I'm just about to be joined by my co-host on today's show, Queen Ellie. If I can I hear you now, Ellie? Are you not hearing you? There's something wrong with Ellie's sound, so I'll just keep going while she sorts it out. I'll just welcome a couple of people into the chat while we're getting that sorted out. David Clark. David, hiya, David. Hi from Leicester. I did say a 3-1 defeat, but if Davis and Longley played, we could sneak a draw. My crystal ball is back working. Good. Can you get one working for Sunday as well and predict a win? Because I think that would really go down well, a win up in Anfield. And also, Wembley 1 is in. Good afternoon to you. Afternoon, Philip. I wonder how much of the second half effort was taken out of us with Anfield only 48 hours or so away. I'm still very fearful of Sunday's game. Yeah. I'm always fearful of going to Anfield. It's never a good ground for us with rare occasions, But it's 72, not quite 72 hours, 60 hours, 65 hours maybe. I think what maybe happened to United yesterday was maybe their legs were a bit leggy with them after the extra time on Sunday against Brighton in the FA Cup, So I always thought we might finish the stronger team last night. Whether it takes it out, but let's say that wasn't good to see the effort. Wasn't it actually good to see Spurs players actually fighting for that badge and literally ready to die for it? Whereas at Newcastle, we would have willingly killed a lot of them, never mind dying for the badge. But anyway, it was good, and it's given us a little bit of hope now that we can get European football. Because to be honest with you, if we lost that last night, I can honestly see us only finishing in about 8th position and missing out on Europe altogether. Now I'm a bit more confident that we're back up to 5th. But anyway, we'll see what's what. And Daniela Sandoval, good afternoon and one love. Yeah. See, I think you're very fond of Orient as well, as far as I can gather. And I'm still harking back to that clip last week. I don't know if anyone saw this, but Orient are now promoted, obviously, to League One, as we know. Congratulations to them. But when the match they were playing last week, the result of one of their opponents came through early before their match had finished. And they started celebrating on the pitch. All the subs all ran onto the pitch, started hugging each other, and the game was still going on. But I've never seen anything like it before. It was hilarious, And good luck to them anyway in the first division. And David Clark again. Barring the Newcastle game, this performance was no different from all the other performances under Stellini and Conte. I told Cole giving our opponent 71% a change in tactics or anything. Now, I think they were a bit harsh on them there. I mean, all the possession was ceded in the first half of that game. In the second half, I thought we looked much the more dangerous team, apart from Fernandes missing that absolute sitter. But then again, that was counted. Eric Dyer missed an absolute sitter as well, and so did Son. So I think we have been very harsh on the team, and I'll be the first one to be harsh on them. But I think when there's a little bit of credit due, I think we've got to give it. And let's try and keep the spirits up for the rest of the season, because 71%, I don't think it was quite that. I think Sky had the possession 60-40 in favour of United at the end of the game. And most of that came from the first half. And wait, I just see 1 second here. I'm just sending Dermatron a message here, so bear with me for a second. Now let's go back to the comments. FTSN Colm, how are you, man? For those of you that didn't see it, last night we had the pleasure of having Colm on our live stream of the watch along with the United game. Colm is a die-in-the-wood Manchester United fan, but he's also a very fair and objective young man, and his comments were really, really good last night, and we thoroughly enjoyed having him on, and we'll hope to have him back on again soon. It's nice to get a fan of another side coming on and giving us his opinion. And in fact, when United were 2-0 up, Colm was still not happy because of recent experiences with United. So it was no great surprise to him when Spurs did get it back to 2-8. So well done, Colm, and thanks for coming on, and we'll see you again soon, man. So let me see now. If anybody wants to come on and have a chat with me about the game last night, feel free. The link is in the chat there, and just come on and we put you on and you get 10 or 15 minutes to talk about the game, because I don't enjoy talking to myself here. I like to have people to chat with, Anyway, here's Peter M saying hello to everybody. How are you, Peter? And DJ Samuel is saying, this season, second half football. Well, that's it, isn't it? How many times has Spurs come out in the second half and done what they should have been doing in the first half? Now, I jokingly have said this a number of times under Conte's reign, and I'll say it now under Ryan Mason's. Maybe they should give them the halftime team talk before they go out for the start of the match and get them to play that way for both halves, because there's something. We go out and we start games so slowly and let the other teams come at us so easily that it's not good viewing, But fair dues to the crowd last night. I think the crowd kept pretty well. There was a demonstration before the game, which we were aware of. I'm not too sure about the numbers that turned up at us, but BT actually featured the ENIC out, Levy out banner quite prominently during the game, and there was a lot of chants of Levy out. And I think what's maybe we were all on this channel, we want the best for football, the best for our football club, and if that is Levy out, then that's fair enough. So I think the last few weeks have sort of taught us that I think the best thing for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club in the future is a change of ownership, a change of chairmanship, a change of direction. And also, if we can get in a buyer that has a vision for the club and also is prepared to back whoever the new manager is, to buy the players that we need to maintain our status in the top six. Because let's face it, Newcastle and the Saudi Arabian money is a big, big threat to our top six position now. It really is. And here's Mia coming on now. How are you, Mia? And she's gone deaf as well. I'll just carry on with the comments anyway. And Peter M again is saying, we dodged a bullet last night for sure. If we draw Liverpool, I'd be relieved. Yeah. I mean, I think another point at Anfield would be a very good result, because we've got a couple of home games coming up that we should be able to win. Crystal Palace. And Brentford is not going to be easy, because Brentford went away and beat Chelsea. But then again, everybody's beating Chelsea at the minute, so maybe that's not such a big deal, And with apologies to anybody who's got Chelsea leanings here, but I think we're the club that's getting all the publicity, but they're the club that's in real crisis. I mean, how many points are we ahead of them now? 14, 15 points? I mean, for a club that spent 600 or 700 million quid on players in the summer, it's an absolute disgrace where they are at the moment.
Can you hear me?
Anyway, David is saying, having supported Spurs since 1961, I can't think of many worse buys than that of Richarlison, especially for 50 million. I wouldn't surprise me if he ends the season with no league goals. I'll tell you one thing, though. He was good last night when he was on. He tried. He put on a couple of crosses and there was nobody in the middle for them. So I think he's a guy, he's a confidence player. He needs to get goals. And when he gets a goal, I think that'll move him on. But I thought he was very hard done by the ref. A couple of times he was fouled. And you could see the referee didn't give the free kick. And you could see Richarlison going up and having a word with him, So it was no surprise he was taken off. And actually, it was good to see Kulusevski coming on. And Kulusevski looked a bit like the old Kulusevski last night. He was getting his crosses in. He was beating his man. And maybe there's a bit of hope for him now for the rest of the season. But anyway, Mia, how are you today?
Hello. Yeah, I'm not too bad. You didn't add me in, that's why. I was sitting there and you didn't add me in.
So sorry, I didn't actually get the message to add you in. I didn't realise you were coming on, so sorry about that.
Oh no, I was coming on anyway. You've got the link for fans, and I'm a fan, so I'm allowed on, right?
Oh, that's all right. That's, yeah, of course you are. Yeah, that's fine. That's grand. No problem. What do you think of last night?
Do you know what? That first half, we didn't look on it at all. Like they did control the game. Although we had a few chances, they pretty much dominated. But then in that second half, it just looked like we came on and we wanted it a bit more. Like we definitely looked a lot better in that second half. Like we did control large portions of that game. But the only thing I will say is at the end, I felt a bit nervous because I felt like he made defensive changes and we didn't go for the jugular. We were happy with the 2-2, but I can understand why he did it, because obviously he doesn't want to risk it on his after that humiliation at Newcastle. I guess that he just was like, right, we're a bit stable, you know, like it's fine because we're 2-2. It's a bit of stabilization maybe, and that's why he chose to do it.
Yeah, I did read somewhere that there was a lot of controlled anger in the dressing room at halftime. They were angry at their own performance, and they said, right, we have to get better, as we've done numerous times this season in the second half, where we've come out and we've like the first 15 minutes of that second half, I don't think Man United really got out of their own half. You know, we were really pressing them back, and like we need to carry that forward now, though, because and one thing I thought I liked last night, Pedro Porro getting his goal, that will be a huge relief to him, because he's taken so much stick for his performances recently. I mean, that goal last night, that was a cracker. I don't think he's got the recognition. What he did was so difficult, to hit the ball with the outside of his foot where he was standing and curl it in the net. It really was a good goal. And here she is. Can you hear us now, Ellie? Hello? Ah, there you
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah. Right, go on, speak. What do you think of last night?
What do I think of last night?
Yeah.
A game of two halves. First half, no pressing, no real intensity. We didn't get at them. We let them play through us. And then the second half, it was like we were a different team again. Like high pressing, intensity was there, effort was there. Everything was right in the second half. And I was surprised we didn't win it in the end.
Yeah. But I suppose what most people think of last night, they'll say, oh, well, if Bruno Fernandes hadn't missed that open goal, it might have been a different kettle of fish altogether. But I would counter that by saying if Eric Dyer hadn't missed his open goal with a header, you know. So, but I said earlier, and I hope you will agree with this, for the neutral, it was a great game to watch. You know, if you have no vested interest in it, it was a game to watch, because there was no real, well, the defending wasn't great on either side, and either we were terrible in the first half defensively, and they were bad in the second. So yeah, and just I'll through a few more comments here before we carry on here. This is what I mentioned earlier. Chelsea is a bigger mess than us. They sure are. They are in a big mess at the moment.
Yeah, definitely.
And I don't think we feel too sorry for them either. No, I certainly don't. You know, I have a friend who's a Chelsea fan, and he rang me just before the game last night, and he said he hasn't watched a Chelsea game for the last 2 months. He just can't bring himself to watch them because they're so bad at the moment.
Oh.
So we're not quite that bad yet. So let's see now what this is from. There we are, Wayne Bonner. Hiya, Wayne.
Philip, sorry.
Howdy all. Hope everybody's well. Happy with the attacking performance last night and the subs. We came out fighting second half and earned that point. Would you agree with that, ladies? Mia, I'll go with you first.
No,
what do you think of that?
Yeah, no, I do agree with that. I think that we definitely deserve that point. I think that at the end of the day, they just backed off that second half, and we just came on to them. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it was certainly was. It was. I think United will be disappointed that they didn't push on. I know their fans certainly are, but that's been their modus this season. Like they were 2-0 up against Seville in the Europa, and look what happened to them. You know. So that's it.
Yeah. And
then we're saying Peter Ems and big up Mia, and big up Ellie. There you go. And Carl Simpson. I'll just say anyone else, the link is in the chat, lads. If you want to come on and have a chat with us about the game, please do. And let's have your feelings about what happened last night and what your general your opinion is of what's happening at Spurs in the near future. And Peter Emerson, hi up, Carl Simpson, and Carl Simpson says hello, Peter back. So there you go. That's all the comments written out. Just to digress slightly from the match last night, what was the story with the protests before the game, Ellie? Did you hear what the figures were like, what the crowd was like at the protests?
Yeah, the protest was very vivacious, actually. It was very loud. There was much more people at the protest as well. There was well over 100 easily, because normally it's only 20, 30 people, but it was well over 100. And there's one guy who was goading us, saying that we're an embarrassment. I think he worked for Levy, actually. Yeah. But it was really good. And then they gave us these black balloons to put Levy out, Enoch out, and we all threw them on. And I
saw them on the 22nd, right?
We all sang Levy out.
Right. Oh, right. Okay. And what about the vocal crowd, the Levy out chants at the game? What were they like? Were they very vocal? We were watching with the volume down, so we couldn't really hear what was going, you
know. The atmosphere was really good. It was really good. We really did get behind the team, which I found quite surprising. I think we all felt sorry for the team that we lost 6-1 to Newcastle, but got battered. So it was really good. And we really G'd them up in that second half, especially, you know, to get them over the line. It's just a shame.
You're frozen there.
In my eyes.
Sorry, say that. You just froze there for a second.
He made a few bad substitutions. Bringing on Tanganga. It was like he wanted to secure the point rather than go for the free, and we really did need the free, Philip.
Yeah, that's what I said though, Ellie. But I said that I think he did it for a bit of security, because I think he didn't want to. He didn't want to lose. I think that's why he did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think
the brave. No, I'm just going to say, Philip. Sometimes the brave fortune, don't they?
Well, I think possibly he had the Bournemouth match in mind when we got back to 2 each and then lost it, you know, in the last couple of minutes. So I think that's possibly why he was. I thought that myself. Why didn't he bring on a more attacking player? But I thought, well, no, hang on. 1 point is better tonight than losing it in the 93rd minute. So I think I can see what he did, you know. But the protests. I think there was one girl holding up a banner which was featured quite often on TV. Levy out, Enoch out. I showed it a couple of times on BT. So I think that, but we were talking to Colin, the Man United fan, who was obviously he's in the same situation at Manchester United with the Glazers, and but their protests are a lot more vociferous and noisy, and they also bring the banners into the stadium. You know, a lot of banners into the stadium. So maybe that's something that might need to be looked at to try and push Mr. Levy off the edge here, because he looked very uncomfortable during the game yesterday. You could see him sort of squirming in the seat a bit at times, you know. And I think his wife sitting next to him. If I was his wife, I'd be saying, Daniel, you're a millionaire. You don't need this anxiety. You don't need this stress. Why just get off and let's go and live in our house in the Bahamas? That's what I'd be saying to him. You know?
Was that not Donna Cullen next to him? Isn't that Donna Cullen that sits next to him as well?
The wife was sitting next to him at one stage. I thought that was his wife now. Maybe not. Maybe I've taken it wrong.
His wife's got blonde hair and she's quite slim.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was her. I thought that also some of the other members of the board sit there as well. I thought
they do.
Anyway. Yeah.
Anyway, I'll just read a few more comments here while we'll go back onto the match again. Kem62, good evening, good afternoon, Kem, or wherever you are. Good afternoon, all. Still have a hangover from Sunday in that first half. I feel we had the shackles off and played with more freedom in the second half. Defense is still a problem. Yeah, Mia, what do you reckon? Is that a reasonable assumption of the way things went last, or a reasonable breakdown of how things were last night?
Yeah, definitely. The defence obviously is a massive problem, but I do feel like we played with a little bit more freedom, especially in that second half. You can just tell that they really were putting the effort in, and that's all I asked. I really just said, do you know what? I just want them to put effort in, and they did. So I can't really knock them for the fact they did at least put effort in, because that's the minimal. Do you know what I mean? Every game, that's the minimal for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think too, it was good to see the old. Okay, it was only maybe in spasms. The old Tottenham bag of flying up the wing, flying at opponents, rather than this slow, quick, slow build up. I mean, there was some genuine pace in that team in the second half last night. And I mean, with a bit. I remember Sonny went off on a run, and I thought I'd shade of Ricky Villa here. I thought he was going to do it. He got crowded out in the end. But I said that's what we want: running at the other opposition, not passing the ball sideways, getting at them, making them unsettled. And from
was
that
it
point of
just
view,
me? Sorry.
what's that?
I say, was it just me, or do you think that Kulu coming off the bench, he actually looked better coming off the bench because he looked like he sat and thought about it a little bit and then wanted to come on and prove a point? That's what I felt like with Kulu.
Absolutely.
Good yesterday when he come on.
He was stung. He was hurt by being left out, and he wanted to prove someone. And that's more like the Kulu from last season that we saw last night. He was getting at his fullback, not turning inside and going backwards all the time. So it was good to see him back, and good to see Danjuma getting a few as well, even though he didn't do that much. Carl Simpson said we should have gone for the kill. Well, yeah, maybe we should have, but I'd rather have a point than not have a point, you know.
Yeah.
And back to the protests again. Wayne Bonner saying Bob Spur TV put a 3-minute video of the protest last night. They had a good turnout, as you were saying. Thankfully, the atmosphere inside the stadium, from what I could tell, wasn't toxic. No, it didn't seem to be. I mean, you were there, Ellie, so you can really.
No.
Was there any moments when it was toxic?
No, it wasn't toxic. It was just like an assumption that Levy needs to leave, and it was just twice we sang it. Once when we won 1-0 down, and then at 22 minutes, and that was it really. And then it was just nothing after that. Just the balloons.
But in the second half, was the crowd getting behind the team?
Definitely. It was so good, Philip, inside the stadium. It was everybody as well. It was like a united. And then we started singing that song, Where the Park Lane, Where the Shell Side. It was so good to hear that again, because I haven't heard that for quite a few games. Everybody was in a good mood.
Yes, no, that's good. That's good. I mean, we might be getting, we might be recovering our season already, because I thought after Newcastle on Sunday, that was it. We were going to slump down the table, but last night's given me a bit of hope that we're going to come back and we're going to at least get a European place. We're not going to get top four. I think that's gone.
As long as we go down fighting, not with a whimper, because I can't stand it when we don't even try.
Exactly. What I was thinking there after Wednesday night in Arsenal, it's a sad situation where the only comfort Spurs fans are getting recently is watching Arsenal bottling it, and that's all it was until last night. When you think about it,
we've got to grasp onto something, Philip.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, we haven't got our Tottenham back, but we've got AFTV and Chill back.
Yes. Yes, Leah. I love watching AFTV after they've lost. Sorry, Robbie.
They were. I have a mate now who's a big Arsenal fan, and I've been getting texts from him all season. Right? Suddenly, those texts have dried up in the last 2 weeks. I wonder why.
He's not practicing his little finger, is he?
It's not. And this is Chem62 again. Was at the game again. There's another man was at the game last night, and the atmosphere was not as toxic. With voices were heard for Levy out, booing at half time. Right. The second half was more positive as we got behind the scene. That's backing up what you said, Ellie.
Yeah. There was a little bit of booing, but not like loud, like when Sanchez got booed. It wasn't that bad. Yeah.
Right. Oh, well, that's good to hear, because I mean it's
and it wasn't all the fans either.
Oops, hang on 1 second now. I'm just sending a message to. I think we might be having a little guest coming on now in a second. So, and Tequila 316. Hello there. How's it going?
Great, Tequila.
This is from him. As for yesterday's game, you should have gone for the head. Oh, what's that? Oh.
I think should have gone for the win, isn't it? That's what I said, Philip. We should have. Be brave. You know,
Yeah, true
because
enough. I
we
know.
haven't got nothing to lose at this stage. So we got an very outside chance of making top 4. Very outside
So
chance.
while I understand that, I think that for his first game, I think he didn't want to lose because that would have been really bad for their confidence. I think that was probably, it was all confidence at this stage. Well. You know, I think that's probably why they possibly did it. He did it like that.
Yeah,
you can imagine. You can imagine the headlines this morning. If saying Mason had put on another attacker instead of Tanganga, and we lost the game in the 94th minute. I mean, that would have been morale tapping. It would have been terrible for the whole club. So I think, we all like to see him coming at it and attacking players and going for the win. But in a situation like that, coming on the back of a Newcastle result, I think a draw with Manchester United. Now, if it had been Nottingham Forest or Brent or Leeds or Everton, we'd be very disappointed we didn't win. But Manchester United are above us in the table, so we've got to take it. That's that we get the draw was a reasonable enough result. I think.
Yeah. There's 2 flip sides to it, isn't there? And I can understand Mia's point about he didn't want to lose his first game, and that would have been detrimental for the team as well, like you said, Philip. Yeah, I'll get your point.
Exactly. And let's just see now. Wayne Bonner is saying, haha, Tequila, love the Infinity War quote. Afraid you've lost me there, but I'm sure.
No, the thing he said about should have gone for the head. That's what Thor said when he didn't get Thanos.
Okay.
When he
hammerhead.
He should have gone for his head. He should have killed him from his head instead of doing what he did. And he didn't actually, he chopped off his hand.
Okay, right. Okay. Now, here's this is a good talking point. This quote, from David Clark. I just want you to read it. I'll read it out and just see what you think. It's just my opinion, but drawing 2-2 last night is a far more worse outcome for the future of the club than if we lost 4-0, because it just perpetuates the continued nonsense of Daniel Levy. Mia, what do you reckon on that comment?
I don't think so. I think that the fans really made their views clear on Daniel Levy. I don't think that 2-2 actually makes any difference, because I don't want my team to ever lose. So I wouldn't want them to lose and be Daniel Levy, at the detriment of the team for Daniel Levy to hear what we want to say. I think we can make our voices heard, and I don't think that's the right way to view it. I think we can get our voices heard anyway without losing, basically.
Ellie?
Yeah, like me, I wouldn't want us to lose just to get. See, Daniel Levy, right? He knows that we're not happy with the club. He doesn't have to us lose 4-0 for him to know, and I don't want us to lose any game. I like us to win every game, but we don't. But the thing is, I think Daniel Levy is feeling the heat regardless. So, and he watches out for social media anyway. He does. He's got his people watching. So he knows that he's not wanted.
Yeah, no, I take your point, David, but I don't think I disagree with you on the fact that a 4-0 defeat last night would have been horrendous for Tottenham. It would have been absolutely horrendous, and not so much for getting rid of Daniel Levy, but for the morale of the team and the players. Like, they're going to go to Anfield on Sunday now, buoyed up by that result last night. If they had lost 4-0 last night, they would be. I don't think God Almighty could pick up their morale for Sunday. So, leave the team's performance and Daniel Levy's situation, separate them for the time being, and let's get the team right on the pitch. The Levy situation will take care of itself. We have it on good authority. He's strongly considering leaving the club, and that will probably be decided in the summer. So I think, but I'd be like Ellie. I think I don't want us to lose any game. And I think a loss last night would have been very detrimental to the morale of the fans. Can you imagine the humour we'd be in this morning if we lost 4-0 last night? Bring yourself back to last Monday morning, how you felt after the 6-1. So, I don't want any more days like that. I really don't, But David, appreciate your comment, but we wouldn't wholly agree with it, And the next one is, oops, there we are. Terry Wright. Hiya, Terry. Mason did a really good job in rallying the troops. He deserves some credit. He has a bright future. Hope he gets a chance to manage the championship side in the future as his next step. I'll just go first on that one. I have a feeling that whoever comes in, Ryan Mason could be a casualty. Because I say that Nagelsmann comes to us, right? He's going to have his own squad with him, his own trainers. And I think Ryan Mason could possibly lose out on that, which is tough for the guy. He loves Tottenham. He really does. And I think that he's got all his UEFA badges. He's a well-qualified young coach. So hopefully he does have a good future. And Ellie, what would you say to him? Do you reckon he might have a future at Tottenham, or will he go elsewhere?
I agree with you about Nagelsmann coming in, because he's going to have all his own men. He's not going to, he might keep him as maybe an academy coach, but he won't want that because he's got his own ambitions. So I think the championship looking bright. The only thing I would advise him to do is to avoid Watford, because if he has a few bad results, he'll be at the door before he knows it. And it'll be detrimental to him as well. So I would choose QPR, you know, if they want to get rid of QPR. They've had a really bad season, and they've just appointed their ex-player, but he hasn't done a turnaround apart from the Burnley result. So I'm going to recommend that to my husband, being that he's a QPR fan.
Yeah. Mia, what do you reckon?
He stays in London as well.
Yeah. What do you reckon, Mia? Is it future at Tottenham?
I think he needs to go elsewhere and get experience. I'd like to see him get experience maybe abroad as well, because I think it's good to learn different cultures as well, to be, when you're dealing with players, that they come from different places. So for me, I think he needs to go and really work hard on his management before he even, you know, thinks about a job like Tottenham. It's a huge job. And I think that he needs to move on now. I would like to see him move on. I know he's a Tottenham boy, but I do think he should, if for his career, if he really is serious about it, I think he needs to move on.
Right. Well, here's David Clark having another say on the matter. And again, slightly controversial. So Spurs emblem is a fake, and Mason knows that Spurs is to dare, which he didn't carry out last night because he's more concerned with his own future at the club than the victory for Spurs. David, I disagree wholeheartedly with that comment. I'm sorry. Ryan Mason came into a very difficult situation last night after one of the most humiliating defeats in the history of the club. He steadied the ship to get a draw against a very good Manchester United team. He's not thinking of his own future because, let's face it, he won't have one probably when the new manager comes in. So, you know, I think that's a bit harsh now to criticize him. He's one game in charge and he's steadied the ship up to a point. And the Spurs emblem is not fake. But you can't expect a new manager on his first game in to absolutely embody every single thing. His priority last night was not to lose the match and not to be humiliated by United, which at half-time we could well have been. So give the guy a chance. And if he can get us through to the end of the season into Europe, I'd be happy enough, and good luck to him after that.
I don't know if anybody knows or what exactly was said, but in his in the programme, he apparently was talking about how much Spurs means to him, because he is a Tottenham fan and he comes from the Tottenham Academy and he loves the club. So to say that is really disingenuous towards Mason. It really is, because he knows what it means. And the reason he did it was because a loss would have been disastrous. So I think that actually he does want what's best for Tottenham. I really, truly believe that. And I think that's really, really unfair on Mason. Really unfair.
Yeah. Ellie?
Yeah, I can't say any more than that, because I don't think our emblem is fake. That's one thing's for sure. Because, listen, we did go for it. We did dare. We did. But he, like I said, he was thinking about the team. He was thinking about the team. If they lost 3-2 right at the death, it would have been detrimental. And then we go to Liverpool and we carry that loss to us. So 2 losses on the trot. You know, nah, I don't agree, David. But it's a good point, but I just don't agree with it.
Yeah, no, me neither. I feel like he gets a lot. I think that he's coming in such a difficult job, Ellie. Like it's hard for him, you know. It's not easy. The fact is that he's come in, he's taken over a job of the interim manager. So like, you know, it isn't an easy thing to kind of do. So I think for me, he is trying his best, and he will try his best. He wants what's best for the club because he loves Tottenham. So
yeah, true. I saw a comment about Donna Cullen mouthing to. You see it, yeah.
yeah,
I'm trying to find it now.
Let me find it.
Yeah,
I think it's
let's
Carl
find
Simpson.
It's Carl Simpson.
Was it Carl?
Carl Simpson's great, isn't he?
I think it
Carl,
was
you're brilliant.
Wayne. One of them said it, I'm sure. Oh no, it wasn't. It was Kem. My bad. Sorry, Kem.
That's all right, Ken. We're giving you the credit then.
Sorry,
You did
Kem.
say
There
it.
we go.
You see that
Sorry about
comment,
that.
Philip?
What was that? Sorry.
Did anyone see the footage on Donna Cullen mouthing to Levy that Dyer was rubbish on the second goal?
Well, I didn't say he was actually, but she was quite right in what she said. I mean, he was rubbish
on a lot of goals we concede.
Yeah, he was.
She'll be mad.
You know, listen, if
He's
he'd
the reason
scored
we
that
concede
goal
most of our
header
goals.
last night, he would have been a hero if he scored that goal from the header, but he didn't. You know, but it was. But is that Donna Cullen? Is that I'm confused now? Who the blonde is sitting beside Levy in the ground is? Is it his wife or is it Donna Cullen? Or does she sit behind him?
If it was his wife, you'd think she'd sit next to him, wouldn't you? I know what his wife looks like, so I'll look back at the footage later.
Yeah, because she sits and she never really says too much to him, you know. I'm just wondering. I don't know. I haven't seen the layout in the director's box. Do the other team's directors sit beside Daniel? Do they all sit together in the ground, or are they separated?
More or less together, because they've got a block. They've got a block of maybe 2 tiers, lots of, yeah.
All right. Okay. No, I just wondered that.
She's got a mouth to him, Philip. Is let's get out of here.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Do a runner.
Yeah. I'm going to show a comment from John Fitzpatrick. And this will probably be nothing to you two ladies, all right? But this is an Irish thing. It says, Mayo, 3 laughs. Enoch will have gone and we will win 10 EPL titles before you see Mayo lifting Sam. I'll just give you a story behind that. In Gaelic football, Mayo are one of the better teams. They'd be like a Chelsea or an Arsenal. They're not quite the top, but they're getting there. But they haven't won the All-Ireland, which is the equivalent of the FA Cup, since 1951, right? And the reason they haven't won it is on the way home from the 1951 final, right? They went through a town in County Mayo where there was a funeral going on, right? And the team did not stop to pay their respects to the deceased person, even though they didn't know him. But the parish priest at the time put a curse on the team and said, until the very last member of that team dies, you'll never, ever win the All-Ireland again. And here we are, 2023. They still haven't done it. But the last surviving member died last week. So we're now expecting Mayo to win the title this year because there's not the curse has been lifted. Anyway, that's a bit of stupid of Irish knowledge for the rest of the world here, you know. And Peter Rem saying, in Everton's case, the directors have to stay away from their own safety. Yeah, I did hear that. That the Everton directors have been threatened. Now, thank God we haven't quite got to that stage yet. But can you ever see that happening, Ellie? That there would be a threat, a case put out on Daniel Levy's safety?
No, the protesters, I was with them yesterday. They're all peaceful. They just want the best for the club, you know, and they voice their opinion. We're entitled to voice our opinion at the end of the day, right? So no, it hasn't happened till now, has it? So no, I can't see that happening.
And I hope not as well.
And I hope so, yeah.
And I hope not.
I think you'll agree with us. So we want, like, anything Spurs do from now on has to be done with dignity and decorum. We don't want to join the rabble that other clubs have descended into to get rid of their managers or the board or whatever, you know. So like, we are Tottenham. We're a well-run club, regardless of whatever we think of Levy. And if he goes, he'll go, because most people want him to go, but he'll go on his own fruition, not through any threats that are made to him, you know.
No, Joe, I think we should do what I said, Philip, is we should do it respectfully and legally.
Yeah.
Don't do anything illegal and be respectful. You can get your voice heard. You don't need to do these threats or do anything, because at the end of the day, Levy has got a family. If you start going to his house and doing bad things, around his house and all that, or threatening his life, that he's got a family, man. You don't do that. Like, that's just not necessary to get your voice heard.
Yeah.
And also, I like to point out at half time where there was some booing, when they came out, the security didn't step up their security around the ground. They weren't, normally if they feel that there's something's going to happen, they'll put loads of the security around the ground. They didn't do that, so they trust the fans.
That's okay.
Yeah,
that's okay. I think Dermot's a Mayo fan, by the way, so I think that's aimed at me, that last comment. Be careful.
Okay.
Wayne Bonner saying, David Clotwell said, Levy sacking manager, especially this season, is like an avalanche gaining momentum. Yeah, I think Steve Perryman summed it up very well in his podcast there this week when he said he was 19 years at Spurs and he had 3 managers. We've had 3 managers in one season, which is never good for continuity or whatever. But Levy is to blame for that. And this is another controversial comment from David. Now, I don't know where you're getting this information from, but obviously we can't verify it, so we'll read it out and leave it at that. None of the board will turn against Levy because he's just bribed them with a £3 million pay rise. So that leaves only the fans or Joe Lewis to turn on Levy. So that just leaves the fans. I'm not going to comment on that because I can't back up and verify what's said. Right. What do you reckon, Mia? What do you think on that?
What I would say, that's conjecture. So that's what a lot of people do. They assume that they know the facts when they don't. And Levy only owns the smaller part of it. So Joe Lewis has the final say anyway. People don't realise he's the chairman, but he doesn't own the biggest part. So actually, Joe Lewis always has had the final say and not Levy. So if he wants him gone, Lewis can get him gone because he owns the bigger part of the company. So he does get that final say. And to accuse people of bribery, I'd be very, very careful, David, what you say, especially in certain ways, in certain places, because you can get sued for defamation. Because if anyone in the club sees that, they can do you for defamation, because that isn't if it isn't true, then that's, it's an opinion, but you can't express it in that way, that you make it like it's fact. You have to express it in a way that it's like an opinion. And even that, you've got to be very careful.
Yeah, I think you said it all there. Ellie, what do you say about that?
Yeah, there's nothing to add really, but basically, I don't know where he got his source from, David, because I haven't heard anything like that. But we've got to be careful what we say, because you could be in court done for something like that.
I think we'll just add that we have no. We're showing that comment as it is. We're not really commenting on it. We're not agreeing or disagreeing with it. But David, just the sources have to be red hot before you can put something like that up. Anyway, Dermot has just joined us, I think. Hello, Dermot.
Yeah, he did.
He's gone quiet again. I'll just read the next comment out when I'm waiting.
He's gone to see if Mayo have won the league.
Yeah, well, that's it. Peter M said, "Trust to leave your family a bang out of order." Absolutely. Peaceful, dignified, and do it by the book, basically. And absolutely right.
And as much as people don't like Daniel Levy, what we've got to remember that he is somebody's husband, he's somebody's dad, and he's somebody's son. And as a parent to 2 children myself, and Ellie's obviously a parent to children, we've all got children in. Like, to me, that's somebody's child, and you don't want to be doing that. Like, it's not a good look, because he's still a human. As much as we dislike him, he's still a person.
That's true.
To my knowledge, nobody's done that anyway.
I'm not saying they have. To say, just to clarify, I'm not saying that anybody has done that. I'm just saying in the future, because if anybody's thinking or considering doing that, then please just don't.
It is documented about the Everton fans. The Everton board have received threats, and that's bang out of order, really. These guys have given up their time and probably their money to try and make that club successful. I really feel sorry for Everton the way the position they're in. I like Everton as a club. I think they're a well-run club, up to recently anyway. And they're building a new ground, and I feel really bad for them because they could probably going to have the best ground in the championship.
Yeah.
And now let's see any more new comments coming in here. This is Paul Pablo. Port's a name I haven't seen before. Be welcome in the chat. Tottenham money return, not interested in putting much money if he can help it. Well, that's the problem. That's what we've been talking about. That's one of the reasons Daniel Levy's under so much pressure. He's not investing in the team. So that's absolutely quite right. And
I think the problem is it's not the investment, it's not the amount of money, because we do spend it. It's spending it correctly, Philip. That's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's true. It's spending in the right place.
The thing is, they go out to thinking that it's the correct way, but it turns out to be some of the players they're just not gelling. You know, if they gelled, it'd be a different story, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think we should look at the Brentford way of doing things. Now, Brentford have brought in some players that nobody's ever heard of, but look at the way they're performing. They have a division in the club that psychologically evaluates every single player that's on their radar, and they work out, are they going to be suited to the environment of Brentford, and it's working a treat for them. I mean, look at the likes of Ivan Toney. Who never heard of him before he went to Brentford, really? You know, and the other players they've got. I mean, so someone like the money should be spent on getting the recruitment right, and we haven't done that.
Well,
so
we
far.
did it in the past anyway. Do you know what's a shame, Philip? Is we've done it in the past because no one really heard of Gareth Bale. Nobody really had heard of Luka Modric. Like, we did actually bring players in that people hadn't heard of before. Saying that, we've done it in the past and we've done well with that. So we need to go back to that route, I think, of doing that, you know. But people, the problem is if we don't get the big players, people say, oh, they're not good enough. So, but now what happens is after they become good, everyone goes, oh, we should have got them. But at the time, people would say, oh, it's not a big money signing, and we don't want him. That's the problem with fans. They want a big money signing. And then when we don't get that and we get someone who's could be a potentially good one, people go, oh, well, that's a cheap signing.
Strikers.
Yeah. I think, but then again, we've been through so many, like, I don't know what to call them, directors of football or whatever. Like, we've had a number of them over the last number of years for one reason or another. Steve Hitchin, and the other names escape me. So we haven't really had continuity in that department. And that's why the next appointment is so important to get that right. I'd say Manchester City, they've got a fantastic way of recruiting players. Okay, money's no object to them, which obviously helps. But did you ever see Manchester City buy a Duff player? Very rare, very rare. And let's see now. This is Peter M saying, I'm nothing against Levy personally. I'm only concerned about his club-related decisions, which are taking us down the wrong route. Yeah, can't disagree with that, ladies.
No. What I was going to do, I'm going to drop out and let Carl come in, because I did actually come in technically as a guest today on the show. So Carl is here. I can't see him though. I don't know if he's actually
there. Carl.
Carl, let us know that you're there, so then I'll drop out.
He's having a problem.
And KVP's just text me. KVV's just text me. He wants us to send him the link.
Yeah, I'll put up the link on the screen here again now, okay?
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second now. Carl, keep an eye. This is the link. I can find it here now. I had it there a second ago, so it should be around somewhere. Bear with me.
I think he's in the stream. I can see him there.
Now, there's the link. There's the link now, Carl, okay? So I'll leave that up for a while anyway to see can he come in. Carl's always good to get his views on the game last night.
Glad. I've just texted the KVP. Yeah.
So hopefully he'll come on now. Just one other thing. One thing I want to cover last night, and this goes back to what Hugo Lloris said or didn't say last Sunday after his performance in inverted commas against Newcastle. Should Fraser Foster now be our number one goalkeeper? Ellie?
Yeah, because he's a really good communicator, because I was right at the front in the South Stand and he shouts and he's got passion, you can see. And all right, he lit 2 goals in, but he tried to save them, and he's just very commanding. And the way he doesn't diddle-daddle passing it to Dyer or to Romero, he just boots it out, which I like. You know, just get it up there and get us going. He's a good goalkeeper as well. He commands his box very, very well.
Yeah. I think that's himself. I mean, he made a few great saves last night as well.
Yeah,
and I like. He's such a dominating character in the penalty area. 6'7". He towers above everybody. So I hope now, Hugo Lloris for me. That interview he gave after the Newcastle game when he said they should probably apologise to the fans. I mean, that was just a bit of an insult, to be honest. And there must one thing. I mean, fair's fair. The players did group together and refund the ticket price for the guys that went to Newcastle, which was small gesture, but at least it was a gesture. Maybe they could have gone further and paid their petrol cost as well, but it's not going to be quantified. But at least the guys that bought their tickets through the ground to the club are now getting their money back,
Right, I think we have a KPV that's ready to come on. So he's gone again. Right. Oh, he's gone. I just messaged him and said he's in the chat, and he said he's here. So I don't know where he's gone.
Can't see. He's not coming up on my screen anyway.
Let me just text him.
He's gone. I just literally messaged him. Anyway, sorry. Okay, we'll carry on because obviously I was going to go once.
This is sort of even Dele Alli was unknown. This is some Peter Rep again.
Yep. There
he
is.
Hear something.
There he is. There we go.
Right. Well, I'm going to bring KBP in.
It's lovely chatting to everybody.
And you, Mia.
Take care, everyone.
How are you?
Take care.
Thanks, Mia. See you later.
Take care, Mia.
How are you, KBP?
You let the dogs out.
I'm good.
Nice
Are
one.
you happier last night than you were on Sunday night?
Yeah, I'm pretty much happy than I was Sunday. I did tell Ben if it was going to be 6-1 Newcastle. I did tell them, and shocking result, but better result last night than it was Sunday. And Son's the only player of the front three to score against United at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Right. Interesting.
Good time.
Yeah, you're full of all the good facts, KPV.
Yeah, Son's now scored there 2 times. We lost 3-1 when he did under Mourinho era, but now he's done it in front of the fans. And what a goal from Pedro Zorro. That's his new name, Pedro Zorro.
Yes.
Yes. That's the new name for him.
Goal.
It was a great goal.
I heard
Man to score. The technique he used to score that goal was brilliant.
Exactly.
Yeah, Pedro Zorro. I heard a Man U fan saying that Richarlison was interfering, but it wasn't interfering. It just dodged the bullet.
Yeah, he was actually behind. He was behind him on the line, so he couldn't have been interfering. He couldn't have been interfering,
No.
But,
we're having trouble. Connection, it's flashing.
You're right.
Still there. I can still see you.
Yeah, I can still see you, but the thing is flashing on the screen. Oh, there. Great goal from Pedro Zorro and Son.
You can see what it meant to him as well. He was really passionate when he put that ball in, running back to the halfway line, And it'll settle him down as well. It'll settle him down. He's had a rough enough start to his career, so hopefully that will settle it and get him playing the way we know he can play.
Yeah.
I think KVP's frozen, is he?
Yeah.
Let's read out these comments while he's trying to come back here. Harry Wright is saying, it's funny how Hitchens gets off the hook for all the terrible recruitment. Yes, Levy approved the transfers, but he trusted Hitchens to bring in the right players within a certain budget. Yeah, I think we've discussed Hitchens' role or non-role here a lot of times, and he doesn't come up with much credit now, to be honest. But then again, Levy did authorize the transfers, so Levy's involved as well. And this is what I mentioned earlier. Suggest people listen to Steve Perryman's podcast because he knows more about the club than anyone. Absolutely. Steve Perryman is a legend who's not too happy with things at the moment. So
he's absolutely brilliant podcast, Philip. Is so, you know what, he says that he hasn't got a link with the club now, but he's got a little bit of inkling. Yeah, because the way he comments, you can tell that he's so unhappy with what's going on, setting the tempo. everybody watch it because it's fantastic.
Absolutely.
There we go. He's back. KBV.
Hello, are you there? The gremlins are out tonight, I'll tell you in this.
Yeah.
Are you there,
Hello.
KB? Hello there,
Yeah.
you're back.
I'm in.
Good. Right. We were just saying there the what were we saying? I've lost my train of thought now.
I'm back.
About Steve Perriman's podcast, the
Oh
last
yeah,
thing we said.
Steve Perryman. Have you seen that podcast by Steve Perryman? He's not hearing
Oh,
us.
Steve Perriman.
Yeah. Did you watch his podcast or listen to his podcast? I'm just going off for 1 second here. Hold on one tick.
Yeah. KPV, you there? All right, we'll read some more of these comments. Right, we've got David Clark saying, it's just my opinion, but drawing 2-2 last night is a far worse outcome for the future. Oh, we've had that one already.
Yeah. This one here about Fraser Foster, I think, is a good comment here. Fraser Foster's keeping us in the match. He scored. So he was. And
he done very well.
Back again.
Back again.
I'm back again.
Back again. Yes.
Yeah, you got a big up there. Big up KVP.
Everyone's delighted to see you in here. Yeah, big up me and KVP from Dermot.
Yes.
Yeah. See, you've got your own fan club here, KVP.
Your own fans. Popular boy.
Big up, Carl. Mia, big up, sis.
Yeah.
Terry Wright saying big up KVP.
Terry Wright, big up. I think that's a fake account, but oh well.
It's David Clark thanking Mia for his contribution, and we'll try and watch the next
David
podcast.
Clark, I think I know that.
Nice one. Purple and gold until we're sold. Purple and gold until we're sold. Yeah, we were singing that on the front line.
Didn't know you were a poet, man. Didn't know you were a poet as well as a barista.
Yeah, he's a man of many talents, Benny.
Many talents, yeah. Could you be chairman of a football club? You'd be a good man to have in charge. And then you said, David Clark,
I should be chairman, and I can buy all the players. I can buy all the players.
KBP, I'll ask you a question. Can we go to Anfield on Sunday and get a result after that? What happened last night?
I hope so. Like last week was the worst that I've seen in years, but we need to bounce back. We bounced back last night. A draw I'll take, but Anfield gonna be tough. Should have won there last year if it wasn't for Bentancur deflecting a ball in Luis Diaz. But oh well, shocking. But 1-0 up. So Ronaldo loves scoring against Liverpool. Kane does. Like Højbjerg, I'm hoping he can score again. Like he's done it before. That was under Mourinho. But Anfield, tough place to go. I haven't won there since 2011 under Harry Redknapp, who he said he wouldn't mind coming back. But got Mason in charge. Get a result on Sunday. Ryan Mason wants to see angry men, but he's got men in that team that can do brilliant. And so first off, I want to say congrats to Expression losing on reaching 300k YouTube subscribers.
Nice.
Expression. Congrats. It's 300k. And we should have won that game in the second half if Eric Dyer didn't miss an open goal. Like, we could have won that. But I thought we were the better team second half. First half they were all over us, but second half came back in the game. Like, I think that the second 2-2 draw this season, but two have been at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Last season was against Liverpool, this time against United. So not bad, but could have won against United. But a draw, not bad. So Sunday, we need the players to put in a result and to pull a shock off the world, and let's just end Liverpool's winning streak. They're only 3 games unbeaten or something, but let's just not let them stay above us. They're only 3 points ahead, but we can win Sunday. I'll be happy. But I'll be going around my mates for dinner, so I won't be watching, but I'll watch the highlights. But hopefully we can get a win. And then we got Aston Villa afterwards. So need to beat Aston Villa, who are flying under Emery. So need to beat him afterwards. Klopp coming for you, fella. So watch out for them.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing too. It hasn't been mentioned too much. The 2 passes that Harry Kane put into Son last night, the first one that he missed and the second one that he scored, I watched them again. I could not believe the accuracy of those passes.
Yeah.
They're unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable pass. And it's just a pity Sonny couldn't convert the first one. But it was so good to see Harry Kane get man of the match. You know, and why Harry Kane's thinking of going to United, I just can't figure it out, really. You know, I want him to stay, but if you're going, please don't go to United. Go to Bayern Munich or Real Madrid or somebody, but don't want to see him in the Premiership.
Yeah, anyway. Don't want him going to United because we're not going to do a Berbatov. I hope not. Berbatov went.
I know.
Well, he'll hardly go on strike.
Yeah, they need a striker. They've got Rashford.
Yeah, they don't need him.
Yeah.
They don't need him. They've got the human beanpole, Weghorst as well, you know. The human
Weghorst too.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did Lindelof not get sent off
last
night?
I think what Man United lack, KVP and Philip, is a killer instinct. Like Man City, they just they go for it, you know. They took their foot off the gas in that second half.
They did.
They've got very talented players. They just haven't got the killer instinct.
Exactly. I'm going to do one more topic before we finish off the broadcast, and it's nothing to do with the match last night. Well, it is in a way, but I want to get everybody's views on the managerial situation, right? Who is in the frame for the job? Who do we want to get the job? And B, will the fact that we probably won't get Champions League affect the decision of a guy like Nagelsmann for coming to the club? So, KVP, I'll ask you first. Who do you want to come in and replace Conte?
Company. I think I'd like Company. Like the job is done. Like Burnley just got them promoted, and I love Company to come. Like, he'd be great. The style of play he's done at Burnley's been outstanding, and just got them promoted. He said that he doesn't think Burnley will have the funds in the Premier League next season. Like, he's got it spot on. But Company for me would be brilliant. We've already beaten him before, so it would be nice to manage us because there's probably no one better than him, but there is a few out there. Like, Company for me. If not, then Luis Enrique. If not Company, then I'll go Luis Enrique.
You're not a fan of Nagelsmann, are you?
No, not a big fan of Nagelsmann because he knocked us out of the Champions League the season Liverpool won the title, but we didn't score a single goal past him. So, like, I want Company or Luis Enrique who, have experience. So, if we don't get Company, then I'll go Luis Enrique.
Okay. Ellie, who do you want?
Yeah, I agree with you, KPV. I love Company. I think he's fabulous. His communication and his toughness and the way he's got that Burnley team playing from a team that played more or less like Stoke City, and he's got them playing through the middle. I watched them against my husband's team, QPR, and they bombarded them for a good half an hour. They should have scored 5 or 6 goals easily, but just QPR kept them out. I just like his attitude towards football. He's a winner, you know, and need somebody to inspire our young lads, and he's young as well. He's just come off of playing. Yeah. Him. Do you know what? I don't
Anybody
know.
else?
We've only got 2 in the frame, haven't we? And maybe Rodgers, but I don't want Rodgers. I'd rather have Enrique, but he'd have to change a lot of the players to play his style. That's the only downer. Whereas Nagelsmann, he can play with that team to get them more versed to how he plays. I was reading up about the style of play he does, and I think we are capable of doing that style. Whereas Enrique, maybe not.
Yeah, I think from reading the papers at the minute, it looks like they're actually in negotiations with Nagelsmann. Now, whether that's true or not, we don't know. Thing about Company, what I like about Company is this: not so much his managerial skills, the fact that he is a proven winner. He has experience of winning titles, and that's something we need in the dressing room at Tottenham. So I would welcome Vincent Kompany, but I get the feeling he's not the first choice at the moment. I get the feeling Nagelsmann is the man. But if Company came, I'd be more than happy to see him coming in, you know. And he's got the thing about it is he would be as I said, he knows a few little secrets about Manchester City as well, which might be helpful when we play them. Although, not that we need it when we play them at home, but just playing them away, we might need a bit of help. So anyway, that's the managerial game sorted out then. So it's either Company, Enrique, or Nagelsmann. One of them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No Rodgers.
What we decided on that. Oh, no, please, not Rodgers. No.
Please.
David Clark would have a fit if we appointed Brendan Rodgers, because he does not like him at all. In fact, we call him the man who should not be named on this channel, you know. So he'd be a cheap option, but I can't see us going for him, you know. So anyway, lads, I think that's it. We've discussed all we can about the match last night. Thanks, KVP. It's a pleasure, as always, for you to come on. You're welcome anytime.
Yeah.
And you know, just come along and we'll have you on every time you're available. And Ellie, thanks a million for co-hosting this. I'm glad you got to see the
pleasure.
And thanks to Mia.
Enjoyed it very much. KPP, go and let those dogs out.
Yeah. Mia let the dogs out. Mia did.
Mia did, yeah.
Mia did. I know she's watching.
We'll be back. We'll be back in Fan Zone. Tomorrow is what? Tomorrow's Saturday. Yeah, we'll be doing a preview of the Liverpool match on Saturday. There may be an around the grounds going on tomorrow, although I'm not available tomorrow. I'm away. But Sunday we'll be doing the watch along for the Liverpool game, probably from behind the couch again. And watch out with this space. New programming coming up next week on Tuesday. And listen, thanks for tuning in. Thanks to everybody that made the comments. And hit the like button. It's big help. And KVP, we'll see you soon, man. And Mia, Ellie, see you.
Take care. Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Nice one, Philip.